Alrighty, welcome back to 5-9 Gaming. Today we're going to be hopping into a discussion video. I'm going to be joined by ZVG and we're going to go in depth on something that might be coming sooner than later. Basically, it's going to be a new mechanic that's maybe is going to hurt Gogeta in the long run, as well as some other characters possessing the unique gauge. So that being said, stick around, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let's get right into the video.
Alrighty, so the homie Spoon, if you guys don't know who Spoon is basically the Dragon Ball Legends modder. He goes into the game files and leaks everything, so on and so forth. And he found something very interesting on the 25th of December. So he found out that there is a unique gauge mechanic that's in the game files already, right? That is something that, you know, I didn't expect to happen. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that it could be possible to lock unique gauges, but it seems like it is in the game. I'm gonna play a little video for you guys to show you guys what it looks like when you can't, you know, when the person can't use their gauge, right? So let's go here. This is UI Goku. There's the gauge working, and this is the gauge not working. So basically he can't auto dodge. He's basically just useless, right? Like, he just can't do anything. He can't auto dodge, and it's just locked for a certain timer count, right? Azik, what are your thoughts on this?
For units like this, it sucks. I don't know how. I'm very curious how this would actually affect Gogeta in the long run, right? Because he does rely a lot off of that unique gauge. But units like this with UI Goku, this is completely like, this would kill the character. At this point in time, everyone's already kind of just on the same page in the fact that UI Goku is extremely outdated. He's probably the worst LF in the game right now, just because Yeah, he came out with such a strong release, but he just did not age well at all. And this is, without that UI gauge, he's going to be nothing, right? It's going to be really difficult for units like him. And then even with Sword of Hope Trunks, I wonder how that's going to work. Like, if you already get the the gauge active, if they lock it, is it going to prevent him from getting that card draw speed and getting those damage buffs from it?
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. I feel like the biggest units that this would really affect is like Cell, you know, because Cell does need to charge. Trunks is also suffer quite a lot, because without Trunks' his gauge, like, he just can't, like, he's still good, but he really becomes like oppressive once that gauge gets filled. And if it's locked, right, then, you know, he won't be able to like do the crazy damage that he does, right? Exactly. And speaking of UI Goku, as they were talking about, so this is what it looks like when Gogeta's gauge is locked, right? So let me just play the video for you guys real quick. As you guys can see, there is a 8-second, you know, cooldown. He cannot, you know, do anything. The gauge won't fill up. The gauge just locked, and yeah, it only becomes usable again once the timer count runs out. So I wonder how long, like, the unit that, because obviously, right, a unit is gonna come out in the future with this mechanic. I wonder how long it's gonna be able to lock the gauge for and how many times, right? Because, you know, if they can lock it like infinitely, then obviously it will be, you know, very troublesome in PvP, right? Because then, you know, most unique gauge characters won't be able to do the stuff that they do, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like this is, I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea. Like, honestly, like, I know like the unique gauges, like, especially with Gogeta's release, his unique gauge, he relies a lot on that, right? To get that blue card, to get like the key back. Like, he does so much stuff with all that. And I know people might be saying like, oh, like, it needs a nerf. Like, he needs a nerf for this. But it's just like, you have to keep in mind the long run of just unique gauge characters overall. You're really going to be hurting the prior ones that have come out. Yeah, that is true. Because as you saw from UI Goku's, you know, gauge being locked, he just can't do what he does. And at that point, he literally becomes useless. Like, if he can't do the auto dodge, then he really has nothing going for him, right? Because his damage isn't that great. His tanking is horrendous, as we all know. So without that gauge, he's just going to be unusable, basically, right? But I do agree with the point that, you know, I feel like it's interesting to say the least. Like, this is in the game files already, because they already planned a counter to the units already. So, you know, that a lot of thinking went into this. Yep. And I feel like if they do release this, I feel like it's probably going to be like a one-time thing or something. Or like, if they pop the main ability, they get to lock your gauge for a bit. And I feel like that would be alright. But it could really become troublesome if they could do like infinitely, or like, you know, have no restrictions, right? So I feel like they really need to be careful with how they implement this, as Gresh said, because Gresh also does not like the fact that this is in the game files. And I do agree that it's going to make units that rely on the gauge not fun anymore, because obviously, you know, the big thing about Gogeta, he gets all those blue cards, you know. It's fun to, you know, you fill up the gauge, get the blue card at the end, land the blue card, you know. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how Toshi and well, not Toshi, but the DBL dev team handles this unique lock. Yeah, because locks are just an issue, like overall, right? This is like why they strayed away from locks in the first place. Because imagine like you're playing against a unit like that can lock you in. Imagine it playing against a unit that can lock your main ability, and then imagine playing against a unit that can lock your unique gauge as well. It's just like you're not gonna be able to play the game. Like what?
Yeah.
So. You know, locks has just always been an issue, and I'm not honestly kind of surprised that they're gonna double down with like making locks just this relevant still to this day, right? Locks are just still like one of the most broken thing in the game. Like whether you're locking cards, locking main abilities, locking all this stuff right here, like it's just it feels like I remember when Revival first came out and people wanted to counter the Revival that stopped the Revival, and people were like, no, that would just kill every Revival unit in the game. And so I feel like
remember that the Revival unit does need to transform.
Yeah.
Upon revival, so if you could nullify revival, then the unit would just be wasted. Like there would be no point in ever running a revival unit ever again. Right?
Exactly. So I hope that's not the case with the unique gauge units, right? Because obviously whoever gets this ability to lock this unique gauge, people are going to summon on it because they're going to want to counter like this meta unit that is Gogeta, and so you're going to see it everywhere. And you know, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be extremely unhealthy for the game. And if they're doing something like this, it's just such a nerf to unique gauge. Something that I mentioned earlier is that they should also, you know, because it was funny because we were talking about the locks and stuff like that, but even when you look at a unit like Goku Vegeta, their swap, it doesn't count, it doesn't register in the game as a main ability, right? Like if you use a unit against them that can lock a main ability, like they'll still be able to swap in and out freely. So it's like they didn't want, for whatever reason, they didn't want that to be restricted, but they want the unique gauge to be restricted. It kind of feels like counterintuitive.
Yeah, truly. But honestly, I feel like if they do this properly, then you know it would add a layer of, you know, more mind games to PvP, right? I don't see the issue with it if they do release it and it's like balanced. But obviously this is Dragon Ball Legends, and you know that, you know, they tend to make things broken and just double down on it. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. I wonder what LF is gonna, or what Ultra or whoever is gonna have this unique gauge lock. Honestly, I feel like it could be like, you know, full power Jade maybe. Like I feel like that'd be pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sick.
It would have to be a special unit for sure, right? Because I think the main point of this, like how you said, they like to double down, and the reason why they like to double down is because of the fact that they want to sell that unit to you. Like they're selling these units to us. They want them to look broken. They want them to look like super like appealing, and they want you to believe like, if I pull this unit, I'm going to have an increased success rate in playing PvP. So, you know, he could be extremely broken. I don't know. Like, I just, it feels like so like odd to me. I don't really like this at all. I don't like this direction. But like how you said, if they can do it right, right, if they can do it right, then I'm more than welcome to it. And, you know, I'll keep an open mind about it. I won't shut it down completely because I do believe there has to be counterplay, just like in whatever game. But it's just like it gets to a point where it's just like it doesn't even feel like a counterplay. It just feels, you know.
Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of people are saying that, you know, Gogeta's locking on a particular unit also has no counterplay, and that is true. So you know, it's really broken against broken, right? I feel like people want something broken to counter the unit that's broken, and I feel like that's okay in a sense. But at the same time, right, we don't want to, you know, you just kill off all unique gauges or whatever else, right? We don't want that to happen.
Yeah, because if you're looking at it from just like how we were just talking about earlier, if you're looking at it just from a Gogeta standpoint, like if say like Gogeta was the only unit in the game with the unit gauge, I would be okay with this, honestly, like fully okay with this. But you like just from the clip you showed of UI Goku, like what is he gonna do? Because one of UI Goku's his biggest shtick, his biggest play is like he can just vanish and then he can just stare at you. Like what are you gonna do? And then you know, and then now he's gonna try to do that. He's gonna try to use his UI gauge, and then what? He's just gonna get folded. He can't take a hit. Like he's just gonna die, dude. They completely defeated the purpose of this unit right here. You're never going to see UI again.
But I also another thing to bring up, right? What if they had like a unit to counter like a specific unique gauge?
Oh,
what do you think about
the
that?
Types, like how Gogeta has this attack one.
So like this unit, so like this unit comes out and you like counters, you know, or locks attack type gauges. Like that'd be something interesting. Honestly, I feel like I'm open to I'm more open to the idea that I'm, you know, I say that it shouldn't be in the game. I feel like I would like to see it in the game just to see how it function. But you know, I'm just scared for what might happen, because if they do release this and it is insanely broken, like there's no going back. Like they can't just, you know, go change it, because we see with FSK they didn't change him. they aren't gonna change Ultra Gogeta either. So they really have to playtest this like a lot, you know. So
yeah,
just to make sure that it doesn't ruin the whole experience for the PvP players.
Yeah, and you said this came out in December 25th, right? So
no, I think he found out about it on the 7th. I think the 7th.
Okay, the 7th of December. So yeah, they definitely playtest. Hopefully they're playtesting it thoroughly, because it's I do like that idea a lot though. Like if I think that way it's a little bit more niche. It's not so general. So like, because I feel like if it's just open to every single unit gauge, it would be broken. But like how you said, if it's specifically against like the newest character gets just locks down the attack unit gauges, I would be down for that. Like I feel like that would be appropriate, especially given that Gogeta is the most relevant unit gauge. Well, I mean him and Trunks for sure, but Gogeta obviously being a lot more impressive.
Yeah, definitely. But let us know in the comments what you guys think of the unique gauge lock. Would you guys like to see it in the game? Would you guys like not to see it in the game? Let us know in the comments. And I'm pretty much done with the video right here, right, Isaac? I don't think you have to mention anything else. Pretty much covered most of what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think that's we can end it right there.
Yeah, so yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying. Also, leave a comment as well. And this is ZVG, joined by the homie Asdi. And we'll catch you guys in the next Five Night Gaming video. Peace out, guys.
Later.